simply build the temple without trumpets. As a godly man as he was, it appears he made a mistake. No church, no group of people, no area can make it without a trumpet.
Amen.
What the trumpet was then, God's people are today. The trumpets of yesterday and today exist to call God's people to a higher level. Young people, we are chosen vessels. We are his oracles. We are his mouthpieces. We are the ones who lift our voices like trumpets. We join the chorus with all the many trumpets of ages past. With our trumpeting voice, this generation needs to declare that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and that there is nobody like Jesus. When Jesus came the first time, John the Baptist prepared the way. John knew what was expected of him, because in Mark chapter 1 and verse 3, John the Baptist says, I am a voice. As Jesus prepares for his second coming, he is raising people in the spirit of John the Baptist. He is looking for those who will lift their voices like trumpets. Ministry to me is not a profession or a career. It is a calling. It is a vocation. The very word vocation comes from the Latin word vocar, meaning a voice. You and I were born to give God a voice in this world. We are trumpets. When darkness comes, we are to sound the trumpet. When sin abounds, we are to boldly blast the trumpet. When the love of many has waxed cold, somebody needs to sound the trumpet. We need a trumpet. So Josiah did not realize. He thought things were going to just go along as always. But this was not the case. The priest lived in the transition of kingdoms. The last day were about to begin for Nebuchadnezzar's head of gold. As godly as a man as Josiah was, he made a mistake. He failed to provide trumpets. Josiah's mistake is an ancient version of a modern sin. In the last days, many attempts to build churches and ministries without trumpets are thinking that organization and people's skills will stand in for that certain sound, that poise and polish will substitute for that distinct sound of the trumpet, that technology and charisma can replace the preached word of God, that dialogue can be substituted for demonstration, that conversation alone will lead to conversion. And I boldly declare, no, nothing can take the place of the trumpet. No emergent philosophy can bring the clarion call of the trumpets that God is looking for in this hour. Hallelujah. We live in the last days. Everything that can be shaken will be shaken. In his view of these times, John the Revelator was caught up into another world. How did God speak at that time? In Revelation chapter 1, verses 10 and 11, John says, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. In these last days, God will lead his people through his Spirit, his word, and trumpet-like voices. Messengers of peace, I've come to declare that we are living in the days of trumpets.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
This is what I find so easy. For the 7 cities mentioned in the book of Revelation, there were 7 churches. And for every church, there was a trumpet. 7 cities, 7 churches, and 7 trumpets. Revelation 2 and 3. No one should be beyond the reach of the trumpet. Paul asked that pivotal question, How can they hear without a preacher? God is on a quest. He is in search of trumpets, human trumpets.
Hallelujah.
It makes me wonder, did Jehoiada not make trumpets simply because there was no one to play them? In his mind, was he thinking, since we have no trumpet players, why even create trumpets? And there is some truth to that. They cannot hear unless there are human trumpets. Where are the trumpets? Where are those young men and those young men or women, who will shout in this hour, I was born to be a trumpet. I was put at the university. I was put at high school. I was placed in that neighborhood. I was put in this city because there God needed a trumpet.
Hallelujah.
I don't know why I ended up with this job, because in that job there was no trumpet.
Come on.
Why do I go to the church that I go to? Why do I live in the community that I live in? Is it an accident? Is it simply a change of jobs or a change of cities? No. It's that in that city, in that community, God needed a trumpet. And we have great church and great services in this new convention. And we thank God for his word that we've heard and the spirit that we felt. But somebody needs to leave this convention and say, God, I want to be a trumpet. I want to leave my voice and boldly declare that Jesus is the only way to salvation. And he is the door. And he is the way.